Hey, what's up you guys, it's Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on #confirmed, we're going to be digging into Devstream 119 to see all of the juicy new stuff that is coming to follow up Fortuna, and believe you me, there are some nice things on the way. So without ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. So, I'm going to hit you guys with some of the items that have no assets, but I think are very, very important to know. Number one, there will be a hotfix between the Fortuna release and Fortuna Part 2. So expect some more tweaks to come with that. In addition to that, they did confirm that there is more lore for Garuda. They had things that they didn't release, but they don't want to tell you anything more yet. So exactly when that is going to release, whether it's with a hotfix, whether it's going to be with a Part 2, or maybe in a future event, who knows? But regardless, unfortunately, it did not come out with launch, but she is a very interesting frame, so I'd like to know how our bloody goddess came to be. Moving on, there was another thing that was confirmed specifically by Jeff. Nobody else on the couch confirmed it, so we're gonna put the onus on Jeff for this one, but they did say that there are going to be primary versions of the Fortuna kit guns in game. So we will eventually be able to make primary variants, but Jeff says so we're gonna go ahead and roll with that. If it doesn't come to be, you know who to hold accountable. Moving along, the next thing that they went ahead and introduced was the fact that the next Tenno-Gen round is going to be releasing next week, so we'll have more goodies to go ahead and fashion frame up. But I kind of went ahead and, you know, sugar-coated you with that good stuff to let you know that Melee 3.0 is not going to be coming at all this year. They just said that they weren't very happy with all of the things that were, or not all of the things going on, but they weren't done with the product, was basically what they ended up saying. And you know what? If I'm going to be honest with you, I would rather have them release it in a state that they feel strongly about it, that they will stand behind it, that they think it's all a good idea. Because if I'm going to be frank with you, I'm looking at Melee 3.0 right now and I'm not really excited about anything. I just feel like it's a whole dumbing down of Melee in general, just from what we've seen so far. The only thing that I'm really excited about is melee weapon buffs, because, you know, we gotta get some love for the dual daggers. There are some weapon categories that need a little bit more oomph in them, as well as dual wielding, because now we got the single-handed kit guns and I'm like, okay, we got single-handed kit guns, I want to be able to pair them with all of the different weapons. So really excited for those, but in general, just the base of it all, not super excited. Moving along, they also went ahead, actually this is acided, so this is with ass. They showed us the Limbo Deluxe skin, and this looks crazy. This is straight up sentient. They said that the emissives that were going to be on it, aka the energy effects, are going to be very similar to what you find on the war weapon and the does the Broken War have energy effects? I know the war has energy effects, but it's going to be very, very similar to that, and that he would be coming with throwing cards. There's supposed to be kind of like tarot deck theme, but basically what it's going to be is, I believe it's a throwing skin. So like secondary throwing weapons, instead of throwing like, you know, kunai, you'll be throwing tarot cards. That is so cool. It's like Gambit, but also mysticism at the same time. So cannot wait to see that all go live. I don't think that they had a model for the tarot cards though, but as soon as they get one up, I'll definitely be ready and willing to share them with you. So we didn't get Melee 3.0 this year. We didn't get the Garuda stuff quite yet, but what they did say would be coming before Christmas. Okay, they said that it was going to be coming before Christmas. This is their words. You know, take everything with a grain of salt. Is the next Warframe. Yes, that is Baruuk, the Pacifist, the Reluctant Warrior. They kind of akined him to somebody who was very similar to John Wick. Like, they had a past, they knew how to, like, you know, they knew how to destroy, but they've moved on to a new path. A path of like cleanliness and just purity, and you know, they weren't gonna break nobody's neck until somebody kills their dog, then it's on. But really the way that they kind of described this kid is there would be a lot of blocking and damage mitigation, and then one of the abilities that they did say that would convert things is something called Breaking Point. And if I'm gonna be real with you, this sounds a lot like the DE staff, specifically Scott. I'm gonna say it right now. I feel like it's Scott. You know, Scott's just sitting there quietly. He's getting Reddit coming after him. He's getting YouTubers coming after him. Everybody's talking shit about Scott, and Scott's like, "Woosah, I will be peaceful. I will not attack anybody. I will not say nothing." So instead, he created this Warframe. So it's like this Warframe could be like, peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. What you say? You don't like the rework? I'll take you down. So that's exactly how I feel. The model itself, I think, is really, really cool. Apparently, the man bun on this guy is gonna have some physics. He looks very monk-like, basically, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of asymmetry in his, in the way that he's set up. I think it's actually very beautiful and very elegant. I know that's something really, really weird to say. We just came off of Garuda, and I find it funny that Garuda is like the bloodthirsty one, and then they moved on to the pacifist one. They said that they wanted a frame that was going to be basically like the opposite of all of the other frames out there. So I'm really excited to see exactly how this is gonna work out. And they did say that at least DE Steve was asking the team, like, are we releasing this with the Prophet Taker Orbs? Are we releasing this with the Prophet Taker Orbs? So you never know, this might actually be tied into the big spider orbs that are going to be released in the Orb Valis. Now, moving along, we do have some information on pets, which I'm very excited about. I like the MOAs. I like them. Do I love them? Not 100%, but I like them and some of the things that we're going to be seeing. They will be able to use up the straight up vitality, shielding, and armor mods now. So you know, at this point in time, both the Kubros and Kavats and MOAs and Helmet Chargers, they're able to use the Link shields, Link health, yada yada yada. Well, some people out there were a little bit frustrated because sometimes the frames don't necessarily match up with that. So what they did in this case was they're gonna give us the ability to not just use the Link health, Link shields on those pets, but that we would actually be able to use just the straight up like enhanced vitality, enhanced shielding, yada yada yada. But the thing is, it'll be one or the other. So you can't have linked shields and enhanced shields. You're going to be able to pick whether you want to link the shields or whether you just want to have the straight up shield buff on there. I think that is definitely a plus. Good for customization for the MOAs if you maybe created a MOA that wasn't super strong in shields or something along those lines, or were using a Warframe that didn't have any shields. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Moving along in the pet spectrum of mods, we also have the helmet mods coming. So as you guys know, we had the set mods for the Sentinels, the Kubros, and the Kavats. Well, Helmet is getting one too, and it's seeming a bit juicy. It's all centered around the helmet growing cysts that create maggots. So the passive on this was, the Helmet Charger grows up to 2 cysts over 6 seconds that erupt every 25 seconds to spawn a maggot. So basically he's going to be a little mini Nidus with these little maggots running around. It's so cool. So Strain Infection is the first mod, and it gives you bonus critical damage per cyst grown. The next one is going to be Strain Fever. Each cyst grants extra damage and increases the size. Next one is Strain Consume. Dead maggots within 5 meters restore health. Strain Eruption, and okay, these are like, some of these ones are base ones, so like I'm looking at it within 5 meters restore 5 health. Doesn't sound like a lot, so maybe, you know, when you level them up you'll get more in there, so I'm just kind of ignoring the numbers because I'm sure DE might still tweak those. Strain Eruption, maggots explode on death, dealing toxic damage in a 2-meter radius. The radius, I don't know, the radius might grow, we'll see what happens. But basically, it's all around these maggots, and I can't wait to see how this actually looks on the Helmet Chargers. Hopefully the effects on them will look really, really cool. Because, I mean, it came from a cyst, so it's making more cysts. It's cute. It's like it's having babies. It's like it's having babies in front of you, and it's using those babies to kill enemies. I like it. Next up, we do have a whole list of things that they did say were most likely going to be come out with Fortuna Part 2. Now, any of these other items, to be honest with you, because the way that I structured this was badly. All of these are supposed to be coming fairly soon, and they do seem like they might come out with Fortuna Part 2, but some of the things that they did say would be coming up very soon as well is the difficulty increase. Now, as many of you guys know, Fortuna's enemies did get a little bit of a nerf. They were definitely taken down a notch because people were finding them too difficult. I don't know what people, because legitimately I believe that everybody on the forums, every YouTuber that had been talking about it, me, Rio, Mogamu, we were all like, why did you nerf these guys? Twitch chat was like, why did you nerf these guys? But apparently DE, you know, was like, I don't know. I don't know why DE nerfed them. Maybe because there were some crybabies out there or something. But apparently they're going to unnerf them. I don't know how far they're going to unnerf them. I don't know if it's going to be like, all right, they were like at 100 before. We took them down to 25. Now we're going to bring them up to like 50 or 75. Listen, I love the difficulty that they had originally come out with. It really... Somebody had said it in Twitch chat. They had said, originally the combat was very engaging. Now it just feels like I'm farming standing. And there's nothing else that I could say, like hit the mark home with me. Before, I enjoyed the combat because I was like, ooh, these motherfuckers, they hitting me hard. And now it's kind of like, well, I just gotta kill these guys so I can go finish up my mission. It wasn't like a vendetta. It was like, ooh, I hate those laser blaster guys because they hit me so hard. It was like, that's how it felt. I was like, I need to kill these motherfuckers. But now it's like, oh, hi, how you doing? You dead, right? So they are going to increase the difficulty, which I absolutely like adore. They also said that the Nyx and Titania reworks will be on their way for the second part of the Fortuna release. They're actually working on visuals for it right now, so I can't wait till they go ahead and preview that out for us. They did say if it didn't fit into the like regular Devstream schedule, that they would go ahead and do a dev workshop on that, so expect me to do a little bit of a reading for you if it does come out. They showed off the Nidus Alt Helm, and I'm gonna be real with you, I think it's ugly, I think it's gross, I think it's disgusting, but I think that they hit the nail on the head with that one. I think that's exactly what they wanted. It looks really, really creepy, and it like splits open. Like when you look at it when it's completely closed, you're actually able to see through it, and then it splits. I don't like it, but I'm not a fan of the infested aesthetic, so that just means that they did it right if I feel grossed out. Now, the one thing that breaks my heart, because we just talked about the difficulty increase, is that orbs are apparently even less endgame than Eidolons, if that's all possible. So the way that Scott, and I feel bad because, you know, I was just talking about Scott getting all this heat, but the way that Scott described the Eidolons were, they're intended to be endgame. That they're supposed to be the endgame creatures that you fight. Since when? Since when? Because legitimately, you know, when they released the Tridolons were supposed to, you know, because Eidolons, just the plain Eidolons were like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the base. They're kind of, I guess there's a kind of challenge to them. You got to figure out the mechanic, whatever. But, you know, after you've done it so many times, it's like, you can take them down without really thinking. In fact, people are taking down 3 sets of Tridolons per night. That's endgame? I don't think so. But they released the Tridolons saying that the Tridolons were gonna shake up the meta, that the meta, like, they were gonna, you know, fuck up the ways that we were killing the Eidolon already, and they're gonna shake things up and make them even more difficult. So I was like, oh yeah, we'll see how that goes. And it didn't happen. We do the exact same thing. We do the exact same thing. They're not difficult, they're not endgame. They're like rinse and repeat. That's what they are. So when they said that orbs were, you know, that new players were gonna be able to dip their toes in, and they weren't, you know, they were gonna invite new players into this, I was like, so they just gonna be regular enemies then, because that's already what we do. They said that they didn't want to release orbs in a way that you could DPS them to death, so it's like, you know, similar, they didn't want it to be Eidolons again, basically. They wanted to give us something different. They wanted a more involved process. And who knows, maybe there's going to be different puzzly mechanics that you need to disable certain things using terrain or something. I have no clue. Regardless, I would like to see it first before I judge it. But for them to say that, oh, new players would feel like they're contributing, I'm like, I guess if they go flip a switch somewhere and it like turns off a shield, that's contribution? I don't know. Regardless, I was hoping for an endgame challenge. They're saying that this is going to be less endgame than the Eidolons, which I'm really confused about and makes me a little bit sad. However, continuing on our fluffy Care Bear trend, we're closing this out with the most important information that you guys could possibly have, which of course is they're going to be releasing 3 more animals for Trank and Cap. Are you guys absolutely excited? Are you shocked? This is the true end game here to get all the floofs. I actually haven't gotten a single floof yet because I've been so busy grinding out standings, so I will be working on that myself. They showed off this weird like badger, sloth, mole kind of ugly creature, then this really angry Kubro-like creature, and then this owl, hawk bird-like creature, which I'm really curious to see how all of their floofs turned out, because all of the ones that we've seen so far are absolutely adorable, and the like first 2 that we saw today were kind of ugly, so maybe they'll make them ugly cute. Regardless, eventually I will find places for them on my ship, but that about does it for me for now. That's all the information that we grabbed. If you want to go ahead and leave your feelings down in the comments below as to the new Warframe. Are you guys feeling him? Is he looking juicy to you? How about the wait for Melee 3.0? Are you guys okay with that, as long as they're kind of like working things out a little bit more? Are you guys excited about Melee 3.0? In fact, let me know what you're the most excited about for that one, because you know me, I'm like, I don't know. 10 Gen round is coming next week as well. If there are any pieces that you're excited about, leave that in the comments there so that I can go ahead and check them out. And of course, let's revel in this difficulty increase until they release those, like, you know, one-shot killable spiders. Anyway, that's it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Oh wait, real quick, I forgot to say this too. They showed that there was like operator hair and shit that was gonna be ombre and juicy and luxurious. It's looking real good, and I can't wait till it comes. It needs to come soon because my operator definitely needs a little change of hair since I can't go blonde. You know, this motherfucker's gotta do something for me.